I'm Wari, aka Kayakura, and welcome to the VibeArtz Cultivation in the Misty Realm. Now, for today, I'm going to be talking about like surfing, like spirit surfing, or like going with the flow of things, the Tao. You feel me? Riding the midway path between the yin yang and shit like that. So, hold on, I got my notes here. So it's just basically like vibe arts. That's like a big thing I learned recently. That's what I like to call it anyway. Actually, my cancer friend, he taught me basically vibe arts. You feel me? Because he basically been doing this. I feel like he been doing this his whole life. Him being a Cancer. I'm a Scorpio ascendant, and I'm a Scorpio South node. So I'm in that Scorpio lifestyle. Just going deep to the deep side of the waters. And I had to learn how to come up to the surface. From a Cancer, because the Cancer is the wave. The Cancer kind of just flows with the wave. So it's like I had to learn how to flow with the wave. You feel me? Just go with the flow of things. Just like ride the rip tides. You feel me? And it's like interesting because like coming from a Scorpio's perspective, it's just like everything is always so deep. It's like sometimes that's something that like stifled me because I get too deep. I'm drinking the same tea I've been drinking for the past like few videos. Milk tea, milk black tea. You feel me? Like, but like with the Scorpio stuff, like, I mean, even if you're not a Scorpio, like, you just like are a deep person, and you kind of find comfortability in like deep things, and you just like too deep. It's just like, bro, sometimes you gotta come to the surface, and that's what my Cancer friend told me, which was like vibe art, just going with the flow. Like something he compared it to actually is like if you watch anime, like the protagonists of the animes, usually the protagonists of the animes, like the main protagonists, they're usually like kind of like hot-headed, like like risk takers basically, and they're not dumb, but they're not necessarily like they don't contemplate on things a lot. They just go for what they have to do. They do what they have to do. They do what they got to do. It's just like that's something like I always overthink things. So that's something that the protagonists in animes they don't do. Now the character who's like usually the like I don't know how to call it, like the second protagonist, that's kind of like the rival character, but they're like friends. They're always like the best friends, but they're rivals at the same time. So like in Bleach, this would be like Uryu. Like my Cancer friend, he compares me to like Uryu a lot because Uryu's like analytical and like he's deep, I guess. And I kind of do play that role because he's more of the advisor. You know what I mean? More like how Anubis was to Osiris. I'm kind of rambling, but it is what it is. But like a lot of the times, like I kind of get lost in the deepness. You know what I mean? I get lost in the deep side. You feel me? And sometimes I just got to come up to the wave. And just flow, like ride the midway path of the yin yang. Like don't get too light, but also don't get too dark. You know what I mean? And honestly, something like I'm a nyctophiliac, and that basically means like the darkness like comforts me. You know what I mean? Like I always kind of like the night. You know what I mean? Like I get possessed by the night. You feel me? I get possessed every time the moon is out. You feel me? Not possessed, but you know what I mean. Like I just feel like when the night comes, I feel like you know I just feel more comfortable. That's why I like to record all my videos at night. And I like to record my music at night also. Um, I'm just more active during the night, like an owl. That's why I compare myself to an owl a lot. I'm nocturnal. I kind of conform to the I don't know how to call it when on this regular on the regular circadian rhythm. I conform to the regular circadian rhythm when like when I gotta do like school and stuff like that and like interact with the normal world. But then when I'm in my nyctophiliac owl world, you know what I mean? Like I'm nocturnal, you feel me? I'm a vampire, you feel me? Not like an evil vampire, but like you know what I mean? Like by that I just mean kind of like the concept of soul resonance from Soul Eater. I'm talking about that anime again. So basically in Soul Eater, like they had this thing between like uh like like I mean, if you saw my last video, I broke down the races. If you don't watch like Soul Eater, you don't watch anime or anything like that. But basically, it's like these, it's like magical. It's people that can turn into weapons, and then people who have magic abilities that can like read souls, and they basically like control the weapons. And so they fight in a team, and so basically like the whole point is for them to get to like soul resonance, and soul resonance is when you can, I forgot who does it first. Either the weapon or the Meister bounces their soul wavelength, which is basically like their like spirit pressure or like spirit, basically like part of their spirit. They bounce that to the weapon. The weapon bounces it back and amplifies it, and it gets greater. Or it might be the reverse. The weapon bounces it to the Meister, then the Meister bounces it to the weapon, and the weapon amplifies it again, and then the weapon gets like bigger. You know what I mean? Not bigger, but like the weapon just like gets like a new form. You know, I really fuck with that concept because I feel like that's what I be having with the owls. You feel me? Like by owls, I mean like my soul group. You know, people that understand me. Like my friend that was a Cancer, he's an owl. So you know what I mean. I be having soul resonance with the owls. You feel me? Like I be teaching him about like the deep side of things, and he be teaching me about the light side of things and how to kind of just ride the wave. You know. That was basically soul resonance. You know what I mean? And it's like it's crazy how things play out in such like serendipitous ways. You know what I mean? Because like I've been friends with him like since a kid. Like in middle school, like he was my first friend, I believe. Yeah, and it's just crazy. Cause like that was the first person like I pointed out, not pointed out, but like I went to become friends with like in middle school, and like that's really like one of my best friends now out of the friend group that I have from middle school. Like you know, I fuck with him the most basically, and I think that's all really wanted to talk about was really just like balancing out, like staying balanced in different things. Like if you don't like to think deep, sometimes you have to think deep. Sometimes you have to get deep into situations or just your mind state, you know what I mean, or your feelings. Or if you're a very deep person, sometimes you have to come to the surface. Oh yeah, that's also a thing with Scorpios. Cause I was watching this Dolo video when he was talking about the rulers of planets and how Scorpios, especially Scorpios, think that Pluto is their ruler, but their ruler is really Mars. And so Pluto is where like Scorpios get like the deep side from, because Mars is like your intention and your passions. You feel me? And then Scorpio, Mars is more impulsive. Mars is actually kind of similar to the anime protagonists that I was talking about. They're kind of hot headed and they kind of do things off of impulse and off of like what seems not seems good at the time, but like you know what I mean, like what they have to do at the time. They gotta handle they handle their business right then and there. Where like where like the Pluto side kind of makes them, not makes them, but makes Scorpios opposed to Aries, which is kind of like how the protagonists play out. The protagonists kind of play out as Aries, while the rival characters kind of play out as Scorpios. So the Pluto side kind of makes them more methodical and like get into their like head more and deeper. You know what I mean? It can be good or bad sides to both. And then how the Cancer plays out, you feel me? The Cancer plays out because the moon rules Cancer, and then it falls in Scorpio. So like your feelings kind of fall down deep in Scorpio. It's kind of where like your feelings go to die. Not die as in like a bad thing, but they become like that's is most dense version. You know what I mean? But like in Cancer, that's where the feelings are. So I had to learn how to kind of go where the feelings are, not where the feelings go to die. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like a hard journey for a lot of Scorpios, because a lot of Scorpios get attached to that deepness and think and are pretentious about it. I was pretentious for a long time about my deepness, and I'm like, oh, nobody likes to be deep and everything like that. But it's like, I don't know, that's just a misconception. That's just like judging a lot of like people and stuff. That's just something I had to learn. You know what I mean? Like just like surfing through the riptides of life, basically. You know, just like surfing the both the shallow side and the deep side. You know what I mean? Learning to balance. That's a huge lesson to learn in life. You know what I mean? that was all I really had to say. You know what I mean? Let the owl scatter.